Danielle, or can I put you at your proper title, which is Dr. Danielle Brown MBE, Olympic and Commonwealth gold medalist, and Guinness World Record holder? Can you really put all that onto a debit card?
No.
I was just thinking that when I was looking at your title, I was just thinking, that's so long, you can't put all that on a debit card, that's ridiculous. But it is officially Dr. Danielle Brown MBE, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, I was given an honorary doctorate for my contribution to sport from the University of Leicester. I studied at Leicester, got a first in law there, and then after I won in 2012, they gave me an honorary doctorate, which I felt so mean about. My other sister's doing a PhD and she's having to do the whole 3 years, pay for it, and they just gave me one.
That's it, just go and win some gold medals and you'll become a doctor, that's fine. But you did study law though, didn't you?
Yes,
at university, so okay, that's cool. Let's go back to the beginning, okay? Obviously, I'm really hoping that all this stuff on Wikipedia is completely correct. I've got to be honest with you. So you're born 10th of April 1988.
Yes.
How were you diagnosed with your condition? Because it's reflex sympathetic dystrophy, if I remember rightly.
Well, my condition was called reflex sympathetic dystrophy. It's now complex regional pain syndrome. It's sort of switched names halfway in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's quite an uncommon condition, or it was at the time. I think there's more known about it now than there was.
Mm-hmm.
But the issue started when I was 11. I was very active, did lots of running, walking, cycling, camping, because my family was very active. And after I'd been running, my feet started to hurt. When I was 13, the pain was there full time and I could hardly walk, never mind competing in all the sports I loved doing. And I didn't get a diagnosis till I was 16, originally from Yorkshire, and we had to go all the way down to Great Ormond Street to actually get a diagnosis.
So it took roughly about 3 years for you to be diagnosed then?
Well, the issue started presenting when I was 11, so yeah, wow. It's 5 years in total.
Okay, well, when they told you, how did you feel that they'd labelled it finally?
I think my parents were more relieved that I got a label than I was. They were testing me for brain and spinal tumours and sort of other sort of really nasty diseases and conditions. So they were obviously quite relieved that it wasn't something life-threatening.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I've not been too fussed. I never bothered really researching into it because I didn't like the doctor's attitudes that you can't do this or you can't do that. I'm sort of more interested in what I can do with my condition rather than all the limitations that they try and impose on you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I mean that must have really affected, certainly when you hit the age of 13, sort of like normal girl, teenager thing type stuff. That must have really quite affected you, sort of like during your between 13 and 16. And was that difficult for you, not being able to do what perhaps some of your friends were able to do without thinking about it?
Yeah, it did affect me quite a lot. My mum actually ended up pulling me out of PE because the teachers kept forcing me to do it. I didn't have a diagnosis, so they just thought I was trying to escape PE lessons.
Oh, the irony now.
Yeah, I know. And the thing is, I love PE at sport, so it wasn't like I hated it and tried to avoid it all along. It was just the pain was too much. So I think it was difficult adjusting to that, and it was something that nobody else could really relate to either. I think that was the most difficult thing.
Did you sort of like confide in friends, or did you have a close set of friends that were trying to understand?
Yeah, well, I've got a brilliant set of friends that, you know, still really great friends with now, came down to watch me in London, and they're absolutely fantastic. So they were brilliant all the way through. They understood that I couldn't do things that I couldn't keep up with them. I couldn't do things that I used to be able to do, and they were fantastic with that.
Good. Okay, so here it comes. When was the first time you picked up a bow and arrow and suddenly realised, do you know what, I'm actually quite good at this?
Well, I first picked up a bow and arrow when I was 15. I didn't quite realise I was very good at it because I was absolutely terrible to start with. So, my 15th birthday I went and did a beginner's course. My dad and I went down and started. And I was terrible. You know, it was a miracle if I could hit the target, never mind the middle of it. And this is just at the really short distances, but I really, really enjoyed it. Decided I wanted to carry on, and I sort of chose the compound bow, which is the one I shoot now. Got on with that much better than the training bows, and it was sort of that point really that I realised that if I worked hard I could be quite good.
Because your first international competition, I mean, it's quite a short space of time really, because your first international competition was what, you were 17, 18?
Yes, I think it was 18. I got my A-level results actually whilst I was at the competition. It was 3 years after I'd been after I first started.
Wow.
So yeah.
And that was at sorry, like I said, I'm glad Wikipedia is good. That was the European Archery Championships, and that was in Nuremberg in 2006. What were your feelings going into that event? Because obviously it's a short time from picking up a bow and, in your own words, being pretty awful, to then actually competing in a proper competition. What sort of things were you thinking? What sort of things were you feeling sort of running up to that?
I was really excited because the first time I'd ever seen somebody from the Great Britain team was in 2004, and I got invited down to watch the opening ceremony of the Junior World Championships, which were held at Lilleshall. And I saw the British team in their uniforms, and I looked at them and I thought, you know what, I want one of those. And it took me 2 years to get there, and I was just so proud. You know, I got my whole Team GB kit, which did say Danielle Brown on the back. I was very mixed about that bit. So yeah.
I bet they were all a little bit surprised. Going, oh, he's got a dodgy ponytail, hasn't he?
Yeah. But it was just amazing meeting the team, being part of that, because there were so many really experienced people on that team that won medals at World Championships, ParaOlympics. So it was just amazing to sort of be in with those people, you know, top and the best in the world, and I was there with them. So
let's talk about the first time you won a gold medal. It's actually 2 gold medals, because you were obviously feeling a bit greedy at that particular event. That was at the IPC World Archery Championship in Chennai in 2007, and you were also part of the women's team, which won the gold in the team event, and you thrashed Japan in the final according to this, which was great. What came first, the individual or the team gold?
The individual team gold was the day before the individual goal was the day before the team. Okay,
so you stood on top of, I'm guessing there's the old 1, 2, 3 stairs as usual.
Yeah.
What did it feel like standing on top of that number 1 for the first time?
It was amazing. I couldn't quite believe it actually, and my face hurt so much from smiling. I just couldn't believe it. I just kept telling myself, wow, you know, I'm world champion, and it was just the best feeling in the world.
Did you feel like, that's it, I've done it, I've nailed it, that's it, all my dreams, that's it, this is it, this is the moment? Or when you sort of 24 hours later, were you just thinking, obviously you went into the team event, but after that you were kind of thinking, okay, I could do even more here?
A bit of both. I really enjoyed it when it happened, you know, and I think that's really important, just to sort of savour that moment. And at the time I'd never done anything like it, and I didn't just win by a little bit, I completely annihilated my opponents. I think I broke 8 world records in the whole event.
Wow.
Yeah, so I just had one of those weeks that was just amazing and enjoyable. It was just incredible to be there. I'd never been to Korea before. And I remember that night, I was just reliving it over and over in my head, and I'm thinking, come on, you've got to get to sleep. You've got the team match tomorrow, so...
I've got to ask this question, because all the BBC presenters during the Olympics asked this question, same question. So it's your first gold medal. Did you sleep with the medal on?
No.
You didn't. Okay.
No, I've never actually slept with a medal on. I think I'd probably end up strangling myself in the middle of the night if I tried to do that.
That would be tough. 2008, by your own standards, was a bit of a mixed year because you won a silver, and then you went on to win a gold. I'm interested to know how you took the silver medal, because obviously going from year when you've won sort of like 2 gold medals, and then to come, this is going to sound really horrible, and I don't mean it to sound horrible, but I'm interested in the psychology behind it, is sort of how you dealt with coming second as opposed to winning the event, especially when you've gone and broken all those world records the year before, and then you've gone to an event, oh, I've got silver, not gold. And it comes back to me because myself and my wife and Kieran watched, again during 2012, there was a GB athlete who shall remain nameless, and they won a silver medal. And in the event interview afterwards, they were really quite arsey about it. They didn't, they were, oh, it's only a silver. It's a silver in the Olympic Games, come on, behave. So I was interested in sort of how you took on board that, actually I've come second this time and I've kind of just missed out. How did you deal with that?
I hate losing, and I think that's really important. Because I hate losing, I find losing you actually learn more from it than you do from winning. And I think a lot of people are afraid of failure, and I think failure is brilliant. There's so much to learn from it, but also it's a great motivator, and it just gives you the kick up the backside that you need to make you go out there, train harder, and make sure it doesn't happen next time. And I know a lot of time you should be proud with a silver medal, but I never was. For me it was gold or nothing, and I had to win gold.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, I guess. Being a sports person, you always want to win. I'm again really interested in the fact that here you are, you're winning medal after medal, you're winning competition after competition, or occasionally coming second and being angry about it, which is great. What kept you motivated? Because when people are at the top of their game, they can't. I dare say we're all human, so people tend to ease off a little bit, going, I'm at the top of my game, it doesn't really matter. What kept you motivated? What kept you really driven to carry on being the best you could be?
Well, I absolutely loved shooting. I loved the competition side, and I always found as well that when I'm shooting, and especially competing, I'm not concentrating on the pain that I'm in. So I think that sort of had a real big influence. I was there doing it not just as sort of because it was fun and enjoyable, but I'm not on any medication to control the pain that I'm in. I just shoot, and that sort of really helped. So I did it for that reason. But I think with winning, once you did it once, I was always hungry for more. And Beijing was an absolutely phenomenal experience. I
was just about to come to Beijing. Yeah. Tell us about Beijing. Tell us about certainly the build up to Beijing. I bet that was something you'd never experienced before, because Australia had done the ParaOlympics, the World of Good, 4 years earlier, and and Beijing was almost like its first real announcement on the world stage, where there was more TV coverage and things like that. So what was the build-up like to that for you?
Well, the build-up was exciting because I'd not done anything like it, and I actually deferred my degree. I was struggling to fit everything in, and in December I decided it was just a little bit too much. So the university let me have the year off. I went to I sort of stayed in Leicester and trained there with one of my teammates, and it was just fantastic. It was exciting meeting the rest of the team, because until that point you'd always been the rather small archery team, and now you were part of a really big team, and it was exciting meeting people from all different sports. I got to be in a TV advert, meet Sir Paul McCartney, which is quite exciting. Yeah.
That's quite cool.
Yeah, he actually sent me flowers after I won in Beijing.
Brilliant. So you've had flowers from a Beatle. Wow,
yes,
there you go. That's cool.
But yeah, I mean, after going back to your point before, after Beijing, just being there, the whole experience of it being in the village, it was sort of addictive, and I wanted that again, and I wanted to be there in my home country at the games, and I think that's what kept me motivated for the next 4 years.
Because in 2010 you did something that I certainly wasn't aware of, and I mean, when we've had a conversation before, I've said that we've been to the 2012 Games, and I was aware of Sarah Story sort of competing in an able-bodied event, but you did it first in in 2010.
Yeah.
You actually, it was a 2-day event, and you came second. I hate saying the word second in front of you now, but you came second behind the world number one.
Yes.
At that time, and that was Nikki Hunt.
Yes.
Yeah. And then you went on to compete for England in the Commonwealth Games with Nicola Simpson.
Yes.
And you guys won gold in the team event, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. It was quite a funny story actually, because I was in my 3rd year at university at that point, and I was out in Arizona at they've got a tournament out there that we go as a training trip with the para team.
I've just got this image of you just stood in the middle of a desert, just firing out.
You are literally in the middle of a desert shooting arrows. Yeah. Yeah. So and I managed to. I don't know how, because I've been busy with my studies, because that year I decided that my education was more important, and I managed to pull out 2 really, really great scores and got the cut for the Commonwealth team the day before the deadline.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. And I got an email saying, well, we've got the selection shoot next weekend, would you like to come? And I was like, well, no, not really. Because I'd got all this work to do. I'd had 10 days off in Arizona that I'd managed to scrabble together a little bit of time to do a bit of revision, but not enough that I needed.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, sort of got persuaded to go. You know, my arm was twisted by teammates and friends saying, just go on, do it. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity. And I went there not because I'd never really sort of. I'd ranked okay, but not amazingly well compared to the rest of the women in Britain, because they were phenomenal. And I turned up, I was jet lagged. I think I got to sleep at about 2 in the morning, had to wake up at 6 to get there, and saw one of my teammates, John, who was also, he got the scores, and we both looked at each other and were like, oh, we can't be bothered with this. You know? And I think because we both of us had no expectations, everybody else was desperate to do well, and we were just there, jet lagged, really tired, thought, you know what, I'll just shoot. And I ended up coming first that day, and he ended up coming second.
Wow.
Yeah, so unfortunately, he on the second leg of the selection shoot, he didn't manage to maintain that, unfortunately.
Jet lag caught up with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. So let's fast forward to 2012.
Mhm.
That must have been such an experience to win a gold medal on
It
your
was.
own home soil.
It was so stressful. I mean, it was amazing though.
We'll go on to the stressful bit a little bit later, because I know where you're leading with that, so we'll go on to the stressful bit a little bit later. But yeah, just tell us what it was like to sort of stand on top of that podium in front of your home crowd with a gold medal.
Well, that was sort of the most amazing thing I think I've ever done, and yeah, my proudest moment standing on that podium. I was so pleased because my family and friends were there to watch it. It's the first time they've ever actually seen me compete internationally, so that was amazing, and just having their support there made it even more special. But also I think because the whole nation got behind it, and I received messages of congratulations, support from people I didn't even know, but were just nice enough to take the time out to reach out to me and say well done or good luck, and it just made it even more special.
I mean, you even got a gold post box. Did you use your gold post box?
I've not actually used it. I have seen it a few times, and every time I'm up in the local town and people taking pictures and I go past it, and my mum's like, she's the one that got it, and I'm just like, stop it.
So somewhere on the internet there are pictures of you stood next to a golden post box, just smiling because somebody
Quite
said.
Possibly, yeah.
Do you mind standing next to your post box? How cool is that though? To have a post box?
It is amazing, you know, and I can't quite describe the sort of aftermath of London. I think in Beijing I had 2 whole media interviews. In London I had 2 days of media interviews, yeah. So it was just amazing. I was on the front cover of the Times, I got to go into the One Show, it was just so exciting.
Yeah, well, the one show is because you've absolutely no idea what they're going to do. They could be talking about sort of a post-nuclear blast and then come to talk to you about ferrets.
Yeah.
Or something like that. It's the most bizarre show ever.
Yeah, we got giant rabbits and I got to sit next to Emma Thompson. So,
Did you? Oh,
yeah.
well, that's it. Right, giant rabbits and Emma Thompson. What more can anybody want?
Yeah,
I've got to be
exactly.
honest. 2013, you were awarded your MBE, and you also won the able-bodied British title as well. And you received your honorary doctorate, which you've already said you feel really guilty about, but win a gold medal, you can do anything, it's not a problem. Coming to the present day, you're not going to be defending any of those titles for the foreseeable future. Tell us pretty much why a gold medal winning career is pretty much coming to a very early premature finish at the age of 26.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell us about that.